And good evening to everyone who's joining us through social media. It's so great to be with you this evening. A little nippy, but we're not going to let the fog ruin what has already been an amazing evening. Being able to see you all in person. I was sharing with someone that I felt as though I think it was Ferris. When you came in, Ferris, I was just in a meeting with you like an hour and a half ago. And you're here in person, and I haven't been able to touch him and say, hello, you're human, you're here. So it's so exciting to be able to see, and I know there's a lot of smiling underneath all those masks. Yeah, there you go. And so, for those of you who don't know who I am, and if you're joining us through our social media pages, my name is Erica Padilla Chavez, and I am honored to be the leader and the CEO of PVPSA. And I was thinking about how am I going to kick off today's event, and what came to my mind was that the last time we were at this place was in February when we did the grand opening of this beautiful facility. And then a month later, the world went upside down, right? And here we are 15 months later, after all working so hard to keep our community safe, our families safe. And we get to celebrate champions today that have been so committed to ensuring that our community is cared for in all regards, physically, mentally, spiritually, socially. And it's just an honor to be able to participate, for me, my first real event of this kind. And for some of you, it may very well be your first event if you're joining us. And if you're joining us remotely, thank you for making time to be with us today. So today I'm very honored. First of all, I have to acknowledge the great leadership of PVPSA, my team members who are all of service and standing at the different stations today. Amazing. And then our amazing board of directors, Samantha Fold, who is sitting in the back, has just joined our board a few months ago. And it's the first time I really get to see you in person. Hi, Samantha. Chief Honda, who we'll get to hear from today, our Honorable Mayor Jimmy Dutra, who will serve as our MC, and I'll introduce him in just a minute. Maria Zamora, a local business owner who has been a lifelong resident of Watsonville and very committed to our mission. Dr. Nancy Pulisic, who is here. I know, here she is. Thank you, Dr. Pulisic, for being here. Dr. Rodriguez, I get to see you too. We had lunch a couple weeks ago, but it's kind of a treat to see you. And then our longtime board member, Dick Allen, who is here. And then I want to give a special shout out to one of the founding members of PVPSA, whose name you see on this facility, Janet Mayu. So to kick things off today, I'm going to ask Mayor Dutra if he would please join me up here, and he's going to go ahead and navigate us through today's program. Welcome, Jimmy. And look, I'm cleaning the mic.
Thank you. I'm going to grab my notes really quick. Good afternoon, everybody. It is really, really good to be here. I'm the mayor of Watsonville, and this is probably one of my first in-person events that I've been able to do. As we just heard, over a year ago, our life was thrown into turmoil, and it's nice to actually see that we're coming out of it. I actually shed a tear today. I was watching a certain channel, and they were telling us the CDC is now going to allow vaccinated people to not have to be wearing their masks as much, and it just was like, wow, we have really come a long way in a year, which so many of our lives were shut down, and it's great to have like the PSA where when that happens, their doors are open and here for especially the youth of our community. And as a teacher, they went through a lot. So and a lot of times they are suffering in silence, and so it's good to have organizations like this who we're really there for them. with the wind is blowing, but I'm getting older. I need to grab my glasses. This is what happens when you're in your mid-40s, I guess. So, I just wanted to say, first of all, thank you all for being here as well. I also wanted to say thank you to our sponsors, Granite Rock, Martinelli, ISA In-Studio Architecture, and Taylor Office Supplies. So thank you to all of our sponsors. I'd also like to thank our event committee for this on this afternoon, Jerry Martin, Dick Allen, and Janet Mike. So thank you very much. This evening, we are excited to welcome Chief David Honda of the City of Watsonville Police Department. I had the honor of meeting the chief a little over 5 years ago when he came to fill the position for our city. And he has been, in his past, a police officer for the city of San Jose in 1990, where he worked a variety of assignments that included patrol, youth services, narcotics enforcement, violent crimes enforcement, mobile emergency and response, SWAT, robbery, traffic enforcement, and internal affairs. He promoted through the ranks, overseeing various units and divisions, and was eventually hired as the chief of police for our beautiful city here in the city of Watsonville in the year 2016. It just seems like yesterday you were here, you were getting hired. So time flies. So since it's the statement of chief of police, David has sat on the board for PDPSA and has helped champion many of the successful prevention programming that is affecting our community throughout PDPSA. Without further ado, our 2021 Heroes in Prevention keynote speaker, Chief David Honda.
All right. Just like our mayor, I need to put my glasses on, although I'm not quite as young as he is. Although I might look about younger. Say that. Anyways, good evening and thank you all for attending PDPSA's annual Heroes in Prevention Awards ceremony. I'd like to start off by reading a quote by an unknown author, but I just felt that this quote was apropos for our event today. It says this: a true community is not just about being geographically close to someone or part of the same social network. It's about feeling connected and responsible for what happens. Humanity is our ultimate community, and everyone plays a crucial role. So we are here today to recognize the commitment and sacrifice of community members who, in the current circumstances of the previous year, to unselfishly come to the aid of those who were in crisis. Now, as I reflect on 2020 and now 2021, the pandemic and the shelter-in-place laws, the economic crisis and the loss of jobs, the national social unrest and the turbulence that followed, the wildfires and the ensuing evacuations and devastation. All of us have been hurt. All are still trying to recover. Many of us lost friends. Some of us lost loved ones. Many of our youth and their families were in very dark places, struggling with depression, anxiety, and even thoughts of suicide. So a person's true character is revealed when facing adversity, despite the amount of wealth, fame, or title one may or may not have. Those who choose to stand up in such circumstances, who lift up those in need and reach out to touch life in ways that cannot be measured, are our true heroes. Now, throughout history, we remember stories of uncommon valor. And I'd actually like to read a couple stories of that uncommon valor to you tonight, because these stories truly resonated with me, as I hope they will resonate with you. So the first story is of Momar Magallanes. When Typhoon Kinsada hit the Philippines on Saturday in late September of 2009, initially Momar didn't react. Like most residents of Manila, the 18-year-old construction worker was accustomed to the heavy rains that pelted the city. By the time the storm had unleashed its full fury, bringing the worst rains the region had seen in almost 40 years, Momar knew something was different. After hearing that a nearby river had jumped its banks, Momar helped his family move to higher ground as the water engulfed his village. He then swam back to do the same for his neighbors. His final act was helping a mother and her infant off a makeshift raft, swimming them to safety. Momar had saved the lives of dozens of family members and 30 of his neighbors, ultimately losing his life. The next story is the story of Ken Bilal. In August 2005, New Orleans was devastated by Hurricane Katrina. The Category 5 storm ravaged the city, killing thousands of people and leaving thousands more homeless. Ken was determined to do something to help his community. So he appropriated a small boat to help in any way he could. The submerged city fell into lawlessness. He was alone. He was assaulted, had guns pointed at him, and he was robbed. At that moment, he decided it was time to flee the city for his own safety. Until he heard the cries of some children crying for help. He rescued them, which led him to rescue another person, then another person, then another person. Rescue after rescue after rescue. He then contacted his fiancée, who had been monitoring an online forum where people listed the locations of missing family members, and she would text him those addresses. So over the next 14 days, he rescued over 400 people. Momar and Ken were ordinary, everyday people who were put to the test and rose to the occasion. In our community, we have faced an unprecedented year of devastation and tragedy. Our heroes in prevention were also put to the test, and they rose above seemingly insurmountable odds to either help someone in need or save someone's life. And that is what our shared vision is with our community here at PBPSA is. That is why we do what we do, to make a positive impact in other people's lives, to improve the quality of life of our children, of our youth, and their families. And that is why we're here today, to recognize our local heroes. But before I turn it back to our mayor, I'd like to read a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And it says this: "Every person must decide whether they will walk in the creative light of altruism or the darkness of destructive selfishness. This is the judgment. Life's persistent and most urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" The idea of doing something for others is the essence of these awards today. So Mas and Marcia, Dory, Jacob and Lupita, Andrew and Karina, and the Watsonville Campesino Appreciation Caravan, I want to thank you for rising up with courage, for your innovation, and for your sacrifice. You are our true heroes.
So David, we're actually going to ask you to stay up here for a second. So stand here. So all of us in this community and throughout PBPSA as well, we want to recognize you as someone we believe has uncommon valor. Someone who has taken this community and made sure that we remain safe, that we felt secure, and that was a true leader for us throughout this community. So for this last 5 years, you have been our hero. And we want to make sure before we recognize the people, the rest of the people today, we wanted to recognize you as our hero of prevention. And so because of that, we have this for you, and we hope that you keep it and cherish it. And every time you look at it, remember how you have left always with us, on our hearts, always. And then we have let's give him a standing ovation for his 5 years of service.
Thank you, and congratulations, Chief. Very well deserved. And we will be missing you as well. All right. So at this time, I wanted to first off by say that we're going to be beginning our award ceremonies, but our committee was overwhelmed by all the amazing and qualified nominees this year. And of course, we would like to give everybody an award, but we are not able to do that. So at this time, I'd like to at least recognize the honorable mentions: Alcance Youth Program, Benjamin Alamillo, Annie Alanis, Ali Cavadas, Jose Humberto Camacho, Michelle Cheney, Jesse Duque, Luis Guerrero, Stephanie Barron Liu, Billy Elliott McCree, Miguel Angel Sanchez Ramirez, Maria Rodriguez, Mariah Segura, Susan True. So let's give them all a big round of applause. Thank you. So we will start with, is Dory here? She is, okay. Oh, okay, I see her, there she is, right behind the plant. Hold on, let me talk about you for a minute. Okay. The Hero for Children Award is going to Dory Rose Inda. Dory Rose Inda has been an advocate for the Watsonville community and beyond for years. She first developed the farm workers' access to healthcare and then expanded that work into Salud para la Gente, working to provide significant health coverage to children, families, and throughout our Pajaro Valley community. This is why we are awarding Dory Rose Inda as the Hero for Children. Dory, if you would like to join us up here on stage, I would love for you to give maybe a few brief words.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I humbly accept this award, really on behalf of our heroes at Salud, who are working every day to take care of kids. And with that, I'd really like to introduce our pediatric director, Dr. Devin Francis, to say a few words about caring and prevention for kids.
Especially this past year. We know this has been a really difficult year for all of us, and I think for kids, beyond just the risk and fear that COVID has brought, isolation of the shelter in place and the schools closing, distance learning, all of that's been incredibly hard on kids. And one of the things that I've been really proud about working at Salud is that we took everything for both patients. Things maybe looked a little bit different. We had to alter the way we were doing things, but we kept our vaccine going, our well-child visits, all of the breastfeeding support for new moms, their educators, kept doing their developmental screenings and autism screenings, behavioral health therapists, case managers help our patients. It's really great to keep all of that going. We also had to do a lot of new things as well. We really learned a lot from that as well. And I think now we're really getting into a better place with COVID cases going down. The masks off, things are better, schools are opening. And yet, I think we still need to remember that it's a very difficult year for a lot of kids. And we're seeing in the clinic really high rates of things like obesity and mental health concerns, depression, anxiety. So I think even as COVID becomes less of a threat to us, and then these issues are still going to be in our community. So I just encourage all of us working with kids in the community to keep that in mind. Over this next year, there's still a lot of recovery for our patients. And lastly, I'll just pediatrician. So I'm going to put a quick plug in for vaccines. COVID vaccines are here. So all the teenagers in your life, please have them get it. I'm taking my daughter next week, and it's really one of the best things we can do to help us get that. So thank you again, and congratulations to all the
Care for Kids in partnership with PBPSA, with the school district, with the County Office of Education, and with so many of our partners who are here. And I know this is an award ceremony for others, but I just need to say, Erica Padilla Chavez created the space and the tables for us to do that throughout this last year, and we are eternally grateful.
So I'm going to present the award. I just want so people know it's engraved in the back with the names of the recipients, and it's really nice. So just so you know. Congratulations. Okay, we'll move on to the next award, and that is for Heroes for Families. And the recipient this year is Andrew Martinez. Andrew Martinez wears two hats. One as a full-time group supervisor for one as a teacher's aide for the Santa Cruz County Office of Education. Andrew's ability to use education, art, and mentorship in innovative ways is a testament to his creativity and benefits youth, families, and the juvenile justice system. We are proud to award Andrew as the Hero for Families. Andrew's here, we'd like to bring him on up.
So we'll see how much the baby lets me talk. But anyways, I just want to say, I'm from Watsonville, but I grew up in Sweden. And during this pandemic, I didn't realize how much, we actually, depend on each other and how much we actually interact with each other socially and how much we can actually do for each other. So I want to take this opportunity to thank the people that supported me during the year. One of the most dynamic years of my life, I think, having the baby and then also interacting with families and everybody else. But Santa Cruz County Courts, Santa Cruz County Public Health, Santa Cruz County Behavioral Health, and Santa Cruz County Probation, of course, and then Santa Cruz County Alternative Education, CAB, Alcance, and then Varios Unidos. And they were all, collaborating with us to help everybody during this pandemic. Yeah, thank you.
We have flowers for you as well. So if you want to eventually, when you get a free hand, yeah. We're asked to do a lot of things, right? All right. So, hero for our community. This award is going to the Watsonville Campesino Appreciation Caravan. The Watsonville Campesino Appreciation Caravan is a group of adult youths, volunteers, who came together at the beginning of COVID, and the pandemic in 2020. Seeing early on that there was not enough aid and attention placed on the campesino population, they decided to go out and do the work themselves. Here to accept the award is Ruby Vasquez, Joanne Sanchez, Irene Torres, and Alfredo Torres. If you'd like to join me up here, that'd be great. Who's the lucky winner?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ruby Vasquez, and truly, this is a portion of our team that has been meeting every Monday for 2 hours to continue to plan how we go out to the different work sites every week, sometimes twice a week. We really could not have done this without our team, and we could not have done this without the support of Watsonville. Salud para la Gente, CAB, Watsonville City, the ad commissioners, Juan Hidalgo, De La Colmena, we've had so much support from our community businesses and agencies. And the reason why we did this is because many of us come from families of field workers. Many of us work the strawberry and raspberry fields here in Watsonville as youth. And we were seeing on TV at the beginning of the pandemic, you know, how people would come out and clap for the doctors and clap for the nurses. And that was beautiful. And we said, who's clapping for the campesinos? Who's clapping for the people who put food on our plates every day? Who's saying thank you? And so one of the group members, we were on a Zoom call, and someone said, let's do it. Let's just go out there in a caravan. Let's do it. So that has evolved into now going out, saying thank you, but taking PPE, taking information packets about COVID safety, taking information about our school district, about different resources that exist in the community, to a community of individuals who often don't have access to that information. And so we've been able to, we keep a spreadsheet, we keep everything organized. We've gone to see over 5,000 local campesinos, and it's been incredible. And I think one of the things that we've been touched with the most is when we see the older campesinos who will say to us, nadie nunca nos ha agradecido. Nobody has ever come to say thank you. And so then they thank us, you know, for saying thank you. That's how humble they are. And so, you know, we do this because this is where we come from. This is our history. And we just want to say, you know, que vivan los campesinos. Que vivan los campesinos.
Thank you very much. I remember seeing them at the pandemic, and that was so uplifting. All right, so the next award we're going to be speaking about or giving is the Hero for Youth and Young Adults. And this award is going to Lupita Rojas and Jacob Martinez. In 2014, Jacob Martinez founded the Digital Nest, a technology workforce development hub providing youth in rural communities with high-demand technology skills, mentoring, and hands-on experience so they can secure well-paying jobs. With Jacob's guidance, Digital Nest students have become a force in our community. Lupita Rojas is in her second year of Food What, a local youth empowerment and food justice organization, and last year joined the Friday South County Triage Group, a group dedicated to communicating relevant and critical COVID updates to the Pajaro Valley community. Lupita's efforts are aimed at ensuring that the quality of life for youth and young adults in the community is supported by a youth-to-youth approach. Lupita and Jacob, will you please come up and accept this award? Young adults.
First of all, I just want to thank all of you for being here and for letting me be a part of this because I genuinely just want the best for everybody and just want to put my best self out there. And for me, it was really hard to understand what you guys were saying. It was all gibberish. And I was like, whoa, these big words, what's happening? Yeah, I want to give very big thank you to everyone for helping me and helping me understand and being a part of the community. When things go wrong, you can't plan it life, but you can make your plans to make it better. And thank you guys for making it better and letting me be a part of it.
Everybody, thank you for this award. For me, it's my first event. Oop, there it goes. It's my first event as well. I was had to find my shoes and find pants that weren't jeans, and then I had to find a mask that matched my outfit. So it's really, really great to see you all and come and hug some people that I haven't hugged in over a year. So thank you. I'm really honored to receive this award. I know many organizations and people could be up here receiving this. And I've had the privilege to be at home and watch my kids learn. And I think the true hero, the teachers who have been now doing this for a year and a half and doing it with smiles on their faces and engaging our kids. And it's just been I've been honored to have that privilege of being able to support my kids at home. So I want to thank the teachers out there. And on behalf of the Nest, I want to thank all my staff. It's a great honor to be honored for the work that we're doing with our youth, and to have one of my staff actually honored as a nominee as well. So on behalf of all my staff, I want to thank the community, thank PSA for this award. And I just want to remind everybody that these problems, these challenges that we had in our community, our youth being disconnected, our youth not being prepared for the workforce, our youth struggling with emotional trauma, they existed before COVID, they're going to exist after COVID. So we got to continue to do this work. We got to continue to come together like we have been doing on a weekly basis to confront these issues. So thank you all. Thank you all for your amazing work and your support. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. It is so good to see young people just really be a big voice in our communities.
You're welcome.
I think we're the same age, so if you're young, I'm young. So thank you. All right, so we are moving on to our next award, and this award is going to the Essential Worker Champion, Karina Alvarez. Karina Alvarez works hard to remove barriers so our students can have equal access to education, and has been a strong advocate for all students at PVUSD. She has continued to work tirelessly through the pandemic to ensure that students are not being left behind in what has been a year of constant change. This is why we are awarding Karina Alvarez our newest title as the Essential Worker Champion. Karina, if you'd like to join me, that would be wonderful.
Good evening, everyone. I am honored to take this award today. Thank you to our community for this opportunity and absolute pleasure to serve the students and their families during unprecedented times. I thank the families for opening up their hearts and letting us in and working in collaboration with us. Thank you for letting me serve as an advocate, mentor, and build connections to support their overall well-being. I would like to thank my colleagues, mentors, and community partners for being part of our students and family support systems. Since it takes a village for our youth and their families to receive wraparound services to persevere. Thank you. Now I will be doing this in Spanish. Buenas tardes. Es un honor recibir este reconocimiento con todos ustedes hoy. Gracias a nuestra comunidad por esta oportunidad y es un placer absoluto de servir a los estudiantes y a sus familias en tiempos sin precedentes. Agradezco a las familias por abrir sus corazones y dejarnos entrar y trabajar en colaboración con nosotros. Gracias por permitirme abogar por ustedes, ser una mentora y establecer conexiones para apoyar su bienestar general. Me gustaría agradecer a mis colegas, mentores y socios comunitarios por ser parte de nuestro sistema de apoyo para estudiantes y familias. Yo sé que se necesita un pueblo para que nuestros jóvenes y sus familias reciban servicios integrales para perseverar. Muchas gracias.
Okay, thank you. We are on our final award this evening, a very special award. Going to two very special people. Our Lifetime Achievement in Prevention Award. And this is going to lifelong residents of our community, Moss and Marcia Hashimoto. Yes, please. Moss and Marcia Hashimoto are two of the most inspirational figures in the Pajaro Valley. Both retired teachers, youth advocates, and civil leaders. For over 40 years, Moss and Marcia have joined causes and headed demonstrations standing steadfast with those fighting racism and inequality and advocating for more humane immigration laws. Moss and Marcia spent much of their time in retirement working in various ways to raise awareness of how dangerous it is to take away civil and constitutional rights from one group of people based on their culture or their ethnicity. PVPSA and myself are extremely honored to award Moss and Marcia Hashimoto with the Lifetime Achievement Award in Prevention. Thank you. I almost gave you a word, join your name together like the famous people. Yes, standing ovation is definitely good.
Marcia wrote my speech for me. Marcia and I congratulate all the honorees who are truly our community heroes. Thank you. Thank you, Bar Valley Prevention and Student Assistance, for this prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm 85 years old, and was there a qualification? Age qualification? This award is especially heartfelt because I was born and raised in Watsonville. This is my hometown. This is my Furusato. In Japanese means home village. And I can't tell you how much Marcia and I both love Watsonville. We're both retired teachers of the Pajaro Valley Unified School District, and we're both a team. We work together. And, you know, we lived in an apartment just 2 blocks away from here on Jefferson Street. And we decided that we would have our name and telephone number and address in the telephone book. Why? So that anyone, any student or parent, Marcia taught kindergarten at McQuitty School and later Bradley. Any parent or student that needed help could call. And any time of the day or night, we would respond. We love our students and our community, and we wanted to help. Yes, we got calls from some students who were suicidal. I remember this one kid, David. I asked him to tell the students in the class why he enjoyed coming to Watsonville High School. And he told the class, I don't have to step over dead bodies to get to school. David was from El Salvador. Had a civil war. Jesus came over. He said, Mr. Hashimoto, I'm gay. And if I was in Mexico, I'd be dead. This was in the 1970s. Marcia just recently helped a student right here at EA Hall who was being bullied by the other students. No more bullying. We help not only the students, but we help also the teachers. There's one boy, one of my students, I gave him 2 books, one to keep at home and one that he could use in the classroom. The gangs were after him, and he dressed like a gang member. He didn't want to carry books because gang members didn't carry books. Ricardo Romero went to Harvard University, our first student that went to Harvard. And then he went to Stanford to get his medical degree. And he was working with youth programs in San Diego. He's retired, but he still works, helping medical doctors as well as students. I'm very proud and grateful to say that one of the very best students that I ever had was Erica Padilla Chavez. Yes, sweetheart. I'm proud of her tireless efforts in supporting the lives of our children, our families, and a greater community. She shares our compassion for this lovely town, Watsonville. Erica and her hardworking staff continually evaluate the needs of our youth and families and provide resources to support their pathway to success. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Bar Valley Prevention and Student Assistance. Marsha and I are sincerely honored to have this award. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was such an honor. I just wanted to say to the community how much the Asian American Pacific Island community in Watsonville and in Santa Cruz County appreciates all your support during this very, very difficult 2 years that we've had. During World War II, you know that the Japanese Americans were incarcerated, and very few people, individuals, and no organizations, only the Quakers, supported us. So we are just overwhelmed by your support in this day when Asian Americans have been attacked brutally and senselessly, but you have come to our side in solidarity, and we are so appreciative of that. Thank you so much for being great friends. Thank you.
Yeah. I was, before we gave the awards, I was telling them, I see Moss and Marsha are everywhere. I mean, they're part of the winter programming we do down on the square. You see them out at the demonstrations. You see them everywhere. They're participating in everything, and you do represent what community is about. So thank you so much for your decades and decades of service to Watsonville. We are so honored and so privileged to have you both here. I was going to turn tearjerker too. I was like, all right. So that I definitely need these. Okay, so thank you again to our sponsors, our awardees, Chief Honda, Dr. Rodriguez, and all of our guests and supporters for making this event possible. That was in my script, but I also want to say thank you to Erica Padilla Chavez, who homegrown. I grew up with Erica. We went to school together. We have honest conversations with each other, and we want our community to just continue going in a direction that is positive, and it takes a lot of people to make that happen. So all of you that were here today, that's a huge statement. Those of you that are out in the communities working day in and day out to make this a better place for all of us, that is a big tribute to all of you, because you're making Watsonville better for all of us. And I want to say thank you for coming home. A lot of our friends went off to get college education, and they're in big cities right now. And that's the one. I mean, that's a great thing, the opportunity that they have. But we also want to create opportunity to come home. And Erica came home, and she helped with her team to create this. So thank you for providing this to our community.
Julie, thank you for agreeing to MC. It's always so great to bring community together, you know, and I think about what allowed me to now serve as the CEO of this agency. It was community. And that's the one thing I know will always pull our families through and our youth through, community. So it's a joy to be able to give back in whatever way I can. before we all leave, I wanted to showcase these lawn signs that we have up here. I would like to encourage all of you to take one home and I want to tell you a little bit about where these phrases came to be. Many of you know that we are home to the Empower Watsonville Youth Group in Watsonville. And the youth, they partake in leadership activities, they engage in discussion about what's happening in our town. And in the midst of the pandemic, the issue of community well-being came up in their conversation. And they came up with this idea. They said, can we create some phrases and put them on lawn signs so that people can put them in front of their house so that they can remind their neighbors and people that drive by that we're gonna be okay, that life is beautiful. So we encourage all of you today, if you wanna pick your slogan, it's bilingual in Espanol y en Inglés, and take one home. And with that, there's food from Ella's, there's Martinelli, so please take some food home. I know that we kept you long, so we don't want you to go home and cook. We brought you food. With that, thank you everybody and enjoy your evening.
So much. I didn't expect that at all. It was supposed to be.